Welcome to the third lecture in pointer series. In last two lectures, we had discussed what is pointer. Pointer is a special type of a variable which can store the address of another variable. And even though the default parameter passing mechanism in C is call by value, how one can achieve call by reference by using address of operator and a pointer dereferencing operator. And in this lecture, we will be discussing what is the relationship between arrays and pointers and how one can iterate through an arrays by using pointers and a pointer arithmetic, and the difference between star plus plus ptr and a plus plus star ptr. So arrays is a special data type which can store list of elements in consecutive memory locations, like int a of 10 can be used to store 10 integers. Similarly, float b of 20 can be used to store 20 real numbers. By using the array name, we can access individual elements of an array, or we can also pass that array as an argument to a function. Now within that function you can access all the elements of that array. How it is possible? It is possible because of the two things. First is, array name is actually referring to the starting address of the memory that is allocated to that array, and all elements are stored in consecutive memory locations. And we will see that with an example program. Here we have an array a int a of 5, which can be used to store 5 integers, and it is also initialized with 1 2 3 4 5, and we are printing a. So as just now we told, a referring to the starting address of the memory that is allocated to the array. This is same as starting address of the first element of that array. So we will see that by running this program. So just compile this program with GCC and then a.exe for running, and you can see here we are printing a as well as address of a of 0. So as we know that in C, indexing starts from 0, the first element is referred with a of 0. The address of the first element as well as a, both are same. Okay. Next, so the pointer arithmetic. Now what kind of operations that are allowed on pointers? Adding a constant to a pointer, or subtracting a constant from a pointer, and the difference between two pointers. These are the three operations that are allowed on pointers. Now first we'll try to understand adding an integer constant to a pointer. When we add a constant to a pointer, something like when we add n to a pointer, what happens? Depending on the type of a pointer, pointer will be incremented by that n into size of data type number of bytes added. Similarly, when we add when we subtract n from the pointer, now the pointer will be decremented by n into size number of data types. Example, suppose initially if p is having 1000, now it is an integer pointer, then p plus 1 will be 1004. Now let us try to understand that pointer arithmetic with an example program. So here we have a pointer p, which initially we are saying address of a of 0, that is pointing to the first element of the array. Now when we do p plus 1, it will be incremented by 4 bytes. That means it will point to the second element of the array. That means the second element is referred with a of 1. The address of the second element as well as p plus 1, both will be same. We can check that by running this GCC. So you can see here both are 44 and 44. Now we can also perform an operation like p plus plus, that is increment p by 1. So the difference between simple p plus 1 and a p plus plus is p plus 1 simply gives that after adding 4 it gives that value. P plus plus updates the p value. Now p will be that 1004 value. Now we will check if you do again p minus 1. So we just incremented p by 1, that means now p is pointing to the second element. If you do p minus 1, now it will be the address of the first element of that array. So both address of a of 0 as well as p minus 1 will be same. We can check that. So you can see here both are 20. We can also perform decrement p. So now p is pointing to the second element of that array. If you do p minus minus, it will now point to the first element of that array. Now if you do p plus 3, what happens? P plus 1 points to the second element, p plus 2 points to the third element, p plus 3 points to the fourth element. Now fourth element, how are we going to access? By using array indexing, that is a of 3. So a of 3 is the fourth element. Address of a of 3 as well as p plus 3 both will be same. So we can see that by running. You can see here both are 5c 5c. Now to access the elements of an array by using pointer. So as we know that once pointer stores the address, we can get the value at that address by using a dereferencing operator star p. So as p is currently holding the address of the first element, star p gives the value at that address, that is 1. Here in this case the value at that address is 1, first element. You can check that. You get 1. Now if I do p plus 1, we know p plus 1 will be an address referring to the second element of that array. If we do dereferencing, then it gives you the value at that address, that is 2. Similarly, if you do star p plus 2 gives the value at that address, that is the third element of that array. So we get 1 2 3. Similarly, we will get star if you do star p plus 3, star of p plus 3 gives you fourth element, star of p plus 4 gives you fifth element. Now here one important observation, star of p plus 1 as well as star of 1 plus p both are same, because addition is commutative, either you do a p plus 1 or a 1 plus p, both are same. Now we have one more observation, that is array name contains the starting address. Now one can write star a. If I do star a, what happens? Star a is same as star p. Value at that address, a is currently having the starting address of that array. Starting from the starting address 4 bytes, as it is an integer pointer, that means it gives you 1. You can check that by running. You can see here you got 1. Similarly, if you do star a plus 1, it gives you the second element. So basically what we are saying here is a is a constant pointer. It is same as whatever the pointer p we have used. Only difference is a cannot be changed. P can be changed. We can do p plus plus, p minus minus we can do, but we cannot perform a plus plus and a minus minus. Okay. So now in C, when we are writing a of 0, it actually translated into star of, whenever we write a of 0 0, sorry, a of 0, it will be translated into star of a plus 0. We know star of a plus 0. For a is referring to a starting address of the array, and add 0 to it and value at that address. It gives you the first element. Similarly, whenever we are writing a of 1, it is actually star of a plus 1. It is actually translated into star of a plus 1. For the starting address, you add 4 bytes and value at that address. That gives you the second element. So star of a plus 1 as well as star of 1 plus a is same. One can also write it as 1 of a. So you can see here what we are saying here is one can write here 2 of a. What is 2 of a internally translated to? 2 of a is translated to star of a plus 2. A is having the starting address. It will be a plus 1 means second element, a plus 2 means third element. So now you get the third element of that array. Get the third element, that is 3. So this is how the array indexing works, and this is the relationship between pointers and arrays. And another operation, that is, if you do subtraction between two pointers, it gives you the number of elements between those pointers. Okay. Now this is what we are saying. Whenever we are saying a of I, it is equivalent to writing star a of star arr plus I. It is same as writing pointer I, because for pointer also star ptr plus I. So whenever we declare int star p, if it is pointing to the array, we can also write ptr of I, because ptr of I is internally translated into star of ptr of plus I. Okay, so all are equivalent. Now, what is the difference between star plus plus ptr and a plus plus star ptr? So as both operators are unary operators and both are having same precedency, we have to consider the associativity. Associativity of the unary operators is right to left. So here plus plus ptr, when we do star plus plus ptr, ptr will be incremented first and then you get the value after incrementing. And similarly, if you use plus plus star ptr, first it gets the value and that value will be incremented by 1. Okay. So we will try to understand that with an example here. So here we have some c equal to star plus plus p. So int c, okay. If we do star plus plus p and then if we simply print so you can see we got 2, because pointer is incremented first, because pointer is having an initial address, pointer is incremented and then you got the value. Now if I use star plus plus star, it plus plus star, and let me change the first value just to avoid a confusion. So we got 11. That means this value will be incremented by 1. First it gets the value, star p gives you the value at the first address and then it is incremented by 1. So this is how one can access individual elements of an array.